I think Gavin wants to ask a question here.
Oh, thanks. James, I really appreciated your talk, and I read your Intercept piece in October, and you referred just now, and in that piece, to an obscure but very important top-secret document from the Justice Department. How did you deal with that, and what happened to it?
Well, that was the document they wanted back. That was, people can hear me, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the document they wanted back, and the document I refused to give them back, and I still have a copy. I gave it to the Intercept so they could actually put it online and everybody could read it. But back then was the days of before the internet and so forth. And so what the problem was, I got a call. I was in Harvard Square where I was doing a lot of my research, and I got they didn't have cell phones in those days. I had a beeper, and my beeper went off, and I got a message to make a phone call. It was from Washington, and it was from the Justice Department, and they said they want to talk to me about some document. And that's when I started getting nervous. That's when I got an attorney from the ACLU and so forth. And that's when they started going after me to get the document. And I refused to give it back, and they kept threatening me with prosecution. So I still have the document. One of the things, though, and this is a lesson I guess people can learn to some degree, is that at the time, again, no internet. I only had one copy. I didn't have much money, and 10 cents a page for 300-page document was a fair amount of money for me in those days. So I only had 1 or 2 copies, and I was afraid they were going to actually raid my place and take it. So I wanted to get a copy out of the country, and our mutual friend, Linda Melbourne, offered her assistance. She was with the London Sunday Times at the time, and I called her up and I said, I got to get a document out of the country real fast. Do you know any way? And she said, well, there's this friend of mine that's flying over tonight. If you want, you can meet him on this dark corner in Boston. And he just want to know who you are, and he just want to know what's in the package. But you just give it to him, and he'll take care of it. So I did, most of my work is not very clandestine, like you read in Woodward or Bernstein or whatever, in garages. But this was one of the few times it was. So I handed him this document, and he said thanks and goodbye. And then I got a code. Linda called me up with a code saying she'd gotten it, and it was hidden in a very secure place. So legally, what that meant was that if the government came after me with a temporary restraining order or an injunction, I could argue that it's useless, it's moot because there's a copy beyond U.S. jurisdiction. And if they did come after me, she could have published it in the London Sunday Times. And she actually did write about it when my book came out.
Do you know what happened to that document?
Well, it's been sitting on my shelf for the last 32 years or whatever. And like I said, I gave it to the internet, to the Intercept, and they put it online. But I still have that copy sitting there.
And the one in Britain?
I think it's probably still hidden there. I'll have to ask Linda about it when I talk to her. I think she told me she hid it under her mother's sink, so it may still be there.
Would you like to look under your chair, James?
Oh, really? It's here. 32 years later. That's very good. Yes.
I read James's story.
There it is, top secret and everything.
That's it. That's the copy that we'd have got out if he'd been busted.
Yes. Well, thank you. So we do go back a long way. I really have the person who should be here is Linda Melbourne, who we have a lot to thank. I didn't mention her name in the article because I was afraid she was going to be arrested or something by GCHQ, who like to go in and destroy people's computers lately.
It spent 18 months, she told me this week after we read your piece, 18 months hidden in her mother's bath underneath in the casing in a house in Islington. And after we read your piece, we went looking in my dusty archives 3 days ago because I called Linda. I thought, I've got to have this document. I must be looking the keeper of the flame, and there it is.
That's terrific.
Well done.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you very much.